Imagine you're 75 years old, sitting alone in a quiet room as the afternoon light fades. The years have slipped by in a haze of endless scrolls, half-hearted yeses, people-pleasing smiles, and small comforts that never quite filled the emptiness. In that stillness, the truth crashes over you like a cold wave. None of it mattered. The promotions you chased at the expense of your health, the relationships you neglected for later, the dreams you kept postponing, they all faded into quiet regret. We spend our entire lives pushing this awareness away because facing it feels unbearable. Psychologists call it death denial, the mind's desperate trick to keep us distracted so we don't have to feel the weight of our limited time. But the Stoics refused to look away. They didn't soften the truth. They turned it into a weapon. And if you're still listening right now, it means something inside you is ready. Ready for the 7 brutal truths that take this terror and forge it into unbreakable freedom. These truths are not another round of feel-good motivation. They are mental armor, hammered out in the chaos of ancient Rome by 3 men who stared life down without flinching. Epictetus was born a slave, his body broken by his master, yet he walked out of captivity freer than the emperors who owned him. Seneca was one of the wealthiest men in Rome, surrounded by every luxury, yet he warned that wealth could enslave the soul faster than chains ever could. Marcus Aurelius ruled the known world, led armies through plague and war, and still spent his nights writing private reminders that even emperors are mortal. They didn't live in some peaceful monastery. Their world was brutal. Betrayal, disease, loss, constant threat, exactly like ours. The anxiety epidemic we feel today, the overwhelm, the sense that everything is spinning out of control, the Stoics would simply say, life was always this hard. The only difference is how we choose to meet it. These 7 truths are not another round of feel-good motivation. They are mental armor, hammered out in the chaos of ancient Rome by 3 men who stared life down without flinching. And if you're still listening right now, it means something inside you is ready for the 7 brutal truths that take this terror and forge it into unbreakable freedom. These truths are not suggestions, they are mental weapons designed to reforge your identity from the inside out. And to wield them, the Stoics handed us a simple operating system for the mind. 3 rules. Accept what you cannot control. Direct every ounce of energy only toward what you can. And above all else, choose virtue. Wisdom, courage, justice, self-control as the only true good. Think of it as upgrading your mind from a fragile operating system that crashes every time life throws a curveball to an unbreakable Stoic OS that runs calm and steady through any storm.
Each of the 7 truths you're about to hear is a direct line of code in that system. Each one attacks a specific weakness we all carry: ego, fear, distraction, and ends with a practical shift you can start using the moment this video ends. The first brutal truth is this: you will die, and that is the greatest gift you will ever receive. We live as if time is an endless resource. We tell ourselves there's always tomorrow, while scrolling, delaying, postponing the conversations, the risks, the acts of love that actually matter. It's the most common human mistake, treating life like a dress rehearsal instead of the only performance we get. While sitting on the throne of the most powerful empire on earth, Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." He wasn't sick or old when he wrote those words. He was at the height of power, surrounded by every comfort imaginable. Look at your own days for a moment. How many hours have vanished into mindless scrolling while your real relationships quietly gathered dust and your deepest dreams waited on a shelf? We've all done it. The Stoics give us a way to turn this truth into pure power. They called it Memento Mori, remember you must die. The daily practice is brutally simple. Run every choice through the deathbed test. Ask yourself, when I'm lying on my deathbed, will I be proud that I spent today this way? Let that single question cut through the noise and ruthlessly prune your schedule. Suddenly, the trivial falls away, and only what truly matters remains. But accepting that death is coming doesn't just reorder your priorities. It also dissolves the exhausting illusion that you can control everything around you. The second brutal truth: you control almost nothing, only your response. Most of our anxiety and anger come from obsessing over things outside our power: the economy, other people's opinions, traffic, the weather, outcomes we desperately want to force into place. We waste our finite energy trying to steer the uncontrollable, and when reality refuses to bend, we suffer. Even while enslaved and physically crippled, Epictetus taught his students the single sentence that would echo through history: it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. He proved that external events are indifferent. Only our judgment of them creates suffering.
Picture the moment you receive a layoff notice or your partner walks through the door in a foul mood. The old pattern is panic, blame, spiraling thoughts. The Stoic pattern is different. Every single morning, draw a mental line down the center of your day. On one side, what you can control: your effort, your attitude, your words, your choices. On the other side, everything else. Pour 100% of your energy into the first column and give 0 to the second. This single daily division creates an inner freedom that no circumstance can ever touch. And when you finally stop fighting the things you cannot control, something remarkable happens. You begin to love whatever life actually brings. The third brutal truth: love your fate, even when it feels like punishment. Life will hand you delays, diagnoses, losses, and disappointments. Our first instinct is to resist, to rage, to whisper, "This shouldn't be happening to me." That resistance is what turns ordinary hardship into years of quiet misery. The Stoics called this Amor, Fati, love of fate. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we should love everything that happens because it is exactly what the universe intended for our growth. Centuries later, Nietzsche would rediscover this same idea and call it his formula for human greatness. Imagine sitting in gridlocked traffic, hearing difficult news from a doctor, or watching months of savings disappear in a bad investment. The common reaction is frustration and self-pity. The Stoic reaction is one quiet sentence: "This is exactly what I needed to become who I'm meant to be." Every obstacle becomes training. Every setback becomes a teacher. This is not passive resignation. It is the ultimate power move, turning you from a victim of circumstance into the deliberate architect of your own character. Once you stop resisting fate, your energy is finally free to flow toward what actually lasts, and that leads us to the fourth brutal truth. Chasing money, status, and pleasure is a guaranteed path to misery. We measure our worth by likes, salaries, titles, and possessions. We sacrifice sleep, health, and relationships on the altar of success, believing that once we get enough, we will finally feel enough. It's the defining mistake of our age. Seneca, who lived surrounded by unimaginable wealth, warned, "Wealth is the slave of the wise man and the master of the fool." He understood that external things can never satisfy the soul. When virtue is your compass, the opinions of others lose their power over you. The fifth brutal truth: nobody cares about you as much as you think they do. We curate every post, rehearse every conversation, and twist ourselves into knots trying to impress people who are, in reality, mostly thinking about themselves. This craving for external validation is one of the heaviest chains we carry. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "You are a speck in the universe."
He understood that reputation is an external that can never be controlled and therefore should never be pursued. Think about the last time you replayed a mistake at work or a conversation with an ex, worrying about what they must think. The Stoic practice is liberatingly simple. For one full day, act as if no one is watching. Speak honestly. Make choices without the invisible audience. The relief you feel will show you how much energy you've been wasting on an audience that was never paying close attention in the first place. Free from the weight of other people's gaze, you finally see clearly where pain actually comes from. The sixth brutal truth: it's not the event, it's your judgment that causes the pain. A delayed flight, a harsh email, a plan that falls apart. We believe the event itself is what hurts us. Epictetus corrected this illusion 2,000 years ago. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. We treat our emotions as facts, letting them dictate our behavior without ever questioning the story we're telling ourselves. The Stoic shift is a 3-second pause. When something happens, label it neutrally. The flight is delayed. Then consciously choose a wiser interpretation. This is an opportunity to practice patience. That tiny pause gives you sovereignty over your entire emotional life.
And with your judgments under control, the final truth brings everything home. The seventh brutal truth: the past is dead and the future is a fantasy. Only this moment exists. We spend our lives time traveling, replaying yesterday's argument or catastrophizing tomorrow's meeting, while the only thing that is real slips through our fingers. Seneca captured it perfectly. We are dying every day. The Stoic antidote is to anchor yourself in the eternal now. During every transition, walking to the car, eating a meal, starting work, silently repeat, "Only this moment." Let the mantra pull your mind back from regret and worry. Anxiety cannot survive in the present. These 7 truths do not stand alone. Together, they form a complete operating system for a meaningful life. One person I know, a burned-out executive who discovered Stoicism after losing everything in a business collapse, applied all 7 for a single year. He went from anxious, people-pleasing, and exhausted to calm, focused, and deeply content. His relationships healed, his health returned, and he built something far more valuable than money: an unshakable self. The change was so complete that people who had known him for decades barely recognized him. Take 60 seconds right now and run a quiet mental audit. Which of these 7 truths struck you the hardest? Which area of your life is still waiting for it? Stoicism is not a philosophy you study once and shelve. It is an identity you become one deliberate choice at a time. Marcus Aurelius lay on his deathbed, having lost his wife, several children, and much of the empire he once commanded. Yet those closest to him said he faced the end with perfect calm and gratitude. The same peace that carried an emperor through unimaginable loss is available to you today, in this ordinary moment. The universe gave you one life. These 7 truths show you exactly how to make it legendary. If any of these truths moved you, do one small thing right now. Drop the number of the truth that hit you hardest in the comments below. Then pick that one truth and commit to its daily practice for the next 7 days. Come back and tell us what changed. I read every single comment. If you want more ancient wisdom turned into modern power, subscribe and hit the bell. New Stoic truth every week. Stay strong, stay Stoic.